In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up a simple pipeline in Highlevel and how to automate your opportunities. The biggest mistake I see from small business owners who are jumping into Highlevel using this, and even agencies themselves, is that they are not using the automations to manage this entire process. Instead, I see that a lot of small business owners, a lot of service businesses are ending up with a pipeline that looks similar to this, and they're ending up doing a lot of manual work. So the leads will flow and you do a good job at putting them into this new lead stage, whether the leads come from Facebook, whether they come from Instagram, Google, you name it. They come into this new lead stage, and then you guys are manually moving them from one stage to the next. You're moving them here, you're moving them to, booked appointments, you're moving them to these other places, and then you end up doing a lot of manual works. And I'm going to show you how to simply eliminate the majority of those steps by automating this whole process. So very first thing we're going to do is set up a pipeline. What you see here is a simple pipeline that is like 95% of what every service-based business uses. Okay, so the way to do this is we're going to navigate to opportunities here on the Highlevel, and on the top navigation here across the top, we're going to click on pipelines. And in pipelines, all you're going to do is click create new pipeline, and it is going to give you this. All you're going to do here is basically name it whatever you want, and then start to add the new stages. So if you have a new lead that's coming in here, then you're going to have maybe hot lead, and then you're going to have maybe follow up or whatever it is that you're going to have here. Okay, once you do this, you're just going to click the save button, and now you're going to have a new opportunity, a new pipeline in here. All right, if you go back to the opportunities section, you will now notice that at the top here where it says pipeline name, I can change from my old pipeline to my new one, and here's my new one. This is all great. You can always go back and edit these things. You can move them, columns back and forth. But the real power of Highlevel comes in the lead management and the contact management section of it. So what we want as client is to have you do very little work on the back end in terms of manual movement. We want you or your salespeople to solely focus on those hot leads and focus on closing more of those deals, because that's what's going to make life easy for you. Now, I'm going to show you how we move these over instead of moving them manually. So we do this with automations, and I've got automations built out here that you guys can replicate. By the way, there's going to be links to resources, all kinds of stuff in the description. But these are the basic automations that we use. One thing to keep in mind is that you want to keep everything simple. One of the other big mistakes that I see that people make is that they have these massive automations, massive snapshots that you're going to end up spending weeks, if not months, trying to decipher because somebody gave it to you without instructions, and half the stuff isn't needed. So the very first thing that we are going to address is the inbound lead. So when we create an inbound lead, this is, let's say, Facebook, because I run a lot of Facebook ads for local clients, and we use Facebook a lot. But this can be replicated, and I encourage you guys to replicate this for your Google ads, for your search engine optimization, your SEO stuff. If you're buying Angie's leads or Home Advisor leads or Yelp leads, replicate it as well. Bring all those leads in here and let this automation kind of do the whole thing for you. So here's what it does, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you guys can kind of see here what I'm talking about. Now, a new lead comes into Highlevel from Facebook, whether it's a form fill, whether it's Messenger, whether it is a sales lead that comes from your website. Here's what happens. This automation creates the lead and puts it into the new lead stage in the pipeline right here. So by default, they end up here when we create our automation. The next thing that happens is that we add a tag for the originating source, so we know exactly what we're doing on which platform. Now, from this point on, small business owners, home service-based business owners, you guys have hours of operation. Nobody works 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So one of the things that we do, and the things that you're supposed to do, is click and add a condition in here. and this is going to be hours of operation. So in this case, if a lead comes in and it's Monday or after Monday or Friday before Monday, basically Monday through Friday, between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m., we are going to handle this lead one way. Number one, we're going to send a notification to the business owner. We're going to drop a voicemail to that lead, and we're going to send the lead an email, and the system is also going to send the first text to that lead. Then it's going to wait 30 seconds, and the system is going to do what's called a call connect. Basically, Highlevel is going to call you as the sales rep or the business owner. You're going to pick up that line, and it's going to say a message, something like pressing the key to connect with a new lead. Their name is Mike. When you press that, it's going to dial the lead out and attempt to bridge that call so that it saves you a step from having to now receive the lead and now you having to manually type in that phone number or press a button. Okay. Now, a few things have happened in this short period of time. Number one, the lead has already gotten a missed call on their phone. It appears like a missed call, and a voicemail has been left. A ringless voicemail has been left by Highlevel, so by you, and a text message has been sent. So 3 point of contact of touches right there within less than a minute. Then when this call is bridged, that's going to be the 4th point of contact, and this is going to simulate a double dial, because on their end they're going to see a missed call and a voicemail, and then you're going to call them back again doing this. Okay. Now we're going to wait 15 minutes. Let's say that at this point you're either connected or you're not connected. In most cases, you're not going to be connected because a lot of leads are not going to pick up the phone from unknown numbers right away. So if you are not connected, okay, when the contact, does not respond, we are going to send a second message saying, hey, we're going to wait about 15 minutes. We're going to say, hey, are you interested in this? Let us know right away. Okay. If the contact responds to the first text message, then another notification is going to go out letting you know that the contact responded, and the system is going to automatically move the contact from the new lead stage to the hot lead stage. You no longer have to manually move this contact over to the hot lead stage. The system will do it automatically when the contact replies. Now, if the contact does not reply, it stays in that stage, and we're going to go through those steps here in a little bit. Now, once the contact replies, we have this bot that kicks in. This is a ChatGPT connected bot, and it starts to have conversations with that prospect. If the lead comes in after hours, we want to handle that a little bit different, okay? First of all, we don't want to send a voicemail, and we don't want to bridge a call if somebody comes in at 11:30 at night or at 1 o'clock in the morning, which happens quite a bit. So the first thing that we want to do is remove those elements from there, and we want to make sure that we send notification, first of all, for you, and this can be set Monday through Friday, between hours of operation. A lot of times after hour notifications end up being emails. Okay, but we want to respond to the customer right away. We want to say, hey, thank you for submitting the form. We got you. We're going to wait for this person to either reply, okay, to that message, or it's going to continue down this process. If it replies to the message, it's going to then move the person from here and put him in the new lead or in the hot lead stage. Basically, the hot lead stage is anybody who makes communication with us, who instantly responds back to our automation because they're right there. You've got their attention. You've validated that they needed this, and they've actually started to interact with you. So once that happens, internal notifications lets us know that they responded, and then the after hours bot kicks in, which has a conversation with them to try to book him for a call or a consultation or an appointment, or somebody from the office is going to call you tomorrow morning or pick a time, etc. Now, what happens to the ones that do not respond? As leads start to come into this pipeline, this stage is going to get filled up with a bunch of leads, and eventually you're going to end up with a situation that looks like this. As you can see, we have a new lead stage with 130 opportunities. We have 23 estimates done, 14 appointments booked, and 7 jobs completed, 3 not interested. This is a situation that we're going to try to avoid by the automations, because when you move things manually over, there's going to come a point where the amount of leads coming in is too much for you to keep up manually, and you're going to start to lose money because you don't know if you responded to these people and you forgot to do an action and that kind of stuff. We don't want this. We want this to be self-managed so that you can focus on making sales. In order to do this, we're going to create an automation called a stale opportunity short-term follow-up. This is what we do here, okay? Basically, we are going in here, and I know this looks a little bit scary, but it's really simple. We have a trigger. This is the first domino that knocks everything over. And we have 2 triggers in here. Number 1 is going to be day 1. And this is going to be for those leads that are hot, okay? If a lead is in that hot stage pipeline and they have ghosted us, right? Like if they have been there longer than 1 day, they are going to go into this 1-day hot lead sequence. Basically, the system's going to automatically move them into the short-term opportunity stage. And from there, it's going to wait a day. It's going to repeat the cycle again. It's going to send a voicemail and send another SMS. And the reason I have these broken down like this and not necessarily all coming through the same, flow is because these messages are going to be different than these messages. If you already have a contact who you've been in communications with, you're not going to want to send a voicemail that says, "Hey, this is Mike. I was just reaching out because a few days ago you requested some information and I just want to follow up." You're going to send a message that says, "Hey, this is Mike. We've been chatting. I just wanted to follow up since I didn't hear back from you," that kind of stuff, right? So it's going to send a voicemail. It's going to send an SMS. We're going to wait to see if the customer responds to the text message. And if they respond to the text message, we're going to quickly move them onto this level that lets the salespeople notify that, hey, this hot lead responded here through our nurture sequence, and then the bot is going to kick in and have conversations with them. Because, again, our salespeople are working hot leads, but we also want to give them some leeway and some assistance and some cushion to have this work in the background while they close the deal and they come back to this one. If they don't respond, that's fine. We're going to send an email. We're going to wait 2 days. We're going to send another text message, and we're going to do the same thing again. If they respond to the second text message, we're going to move them back up here and do the process again where the bot can interact with them and they'll be able to get that notification. If they don't do that, we're going to wait an additional day and we're going to send a follow-up email. Once this is done, and let's say we haven't been able to close them or get a hold of them, all these leads enter another sequence that is for long-term nurture, and I'll show you that here in a minute. So in the event that the opportunity has been stale for 2 or more days in the section where nobody responds, then it's going to follow the same protocol, but the messages will be different. So in other words, if a new lead comes in and they land in here, the first sequence is going to send them a voicemail, send them a text, try to call them and ring that phone, send them a second follow-up text, and another email. So that's 5 touch points. After that, it is going to move them. Nobody responds to those things. They ghost at you. It's going to get moved to the short-term follow-up section automatically without you having to do anything. Okay. If for whatever reason they respond, then they move to the hot lead section automatically. In this hot lead section, this is where the salespeople are working these hot leads. And when the salespeople are working these hot leads, they're going to do a couple things. Number one, more than likely, they're going to have a phone conversation with this person, or they're going to be having a text conversation. In either case, a manual action has to happen. What does the salesperson do? If they have a conversation with the person and they say, "Hey, look, yeah, great. This is kind of what we're looking at. I took everything you said, and this is what our price is. I think it'd be great. Do you want to book an appointment? Do you want to, close a deal?" Whatever the case is in your specific situation. Okay. If that happens, then more than likely they're getting booked on an appointment, or they're getting booked on a calendar to have a appointment done, right? Appointment done. So let's say that you're in here and you go and I book an appointment, okay? And I say, yeah, talk to you, everything looks great. The salesperson is going to look at the calendar and it's going to say for the 25th, we're going to book you. And we're going to book you, actually that's Christmas. 26th, we're going to book you at 8:15 a.m. Great. The moment they save this calendar booking, the lead will automatically move to the booked appointment confirmation step. Once that happens, we have another set of automations that does all the follow-up and appointment reminders from that point on. It removes that contact from all those other follow-up sequences so that it doesn't have to do it again. It creates an opportunity, which means that it moves that card from all those stages down to the booked and appointment section. It sends a confirmation email. It waits 24 hours before the appointment, sends a confirmation email and a confirmation text. An hour before the appointment, they get another email and they get a confirmation text an hour before the appointment. And then 5 minutes before you actually arrive, or 10 minutes before you arrive, you can send another reminder text letting them know that, hey, I'm about to be here at your doorstep. My crews are getting ready to start the process. Okay. What happens when a salesperson gets on the phone and there is really he can't he can't book an appointment? There's another step in the process that has to happen where they have to go back to the office, they have to write up an estimate, and they have to send it. Well, that's pretty simple. All they got to do here is go open the card, because they're going to be speaking to these people anyways. They're going to have to do this because at this point they're going to have to write notes and say, John is, looking for this. He wants this. We want that. And John said, we need to give John an estimate. And I got to do that, right? So I got to give John an estimate. So they're going to go here in the same card, and then they're going to say, John, we need an estimate pending, and just kind of update that card right there. And now John is going to move from here to here, estimate pending. So only one click just moved John from estimate pending, from hot leads to estimate pending. And that's literally the only click that they have made. They haven't moved anything manual and will not continue to move anything manual at all. Now, let's say that now you have done the job. You've gone in here. You've got all these booked appointments. Your crews are at the job site, whether you're a painter, driver and cleaning guy, whether you're junk removal, whatever. You've completed the job. You're just going to open this on your mobile phone or wherever you're at. And you're going to go, status is no longer open. This has been won. And you're going to click update. The moment that you click that on this lead, the automations are then going to move this to a sold service right there. And then once it's in the sold service, it's going to remove it from here so it doesn't clutter everything. Or it can even show you all those that are in here in this section. Okay? And that's going to be done by this opportunity one section in here. The moment you mark somebody as one, the job is complete. Automations will automatically kick in and move that card over so it doesn't clutter any of your stuff. Now, what's really happened here is that this entire pipeline management has literally been automated. There's very little that you've done in terms of moving and dragging cards around, so there's no human error. Leads are not going to sit in the new lead section when you have 200, 300 leads just sitting there, and you're going to have a salesperson that, it's like, I don't know who's who. I'm having to move things around, creating a lot more work for them, because your salespeople or yourself should really only be focusing on selling and closing those deals. The system's going to automatically put them in the hot lead stage. If they don't respond from the hot lead stage or the new lead stage, it's going to put them in a short-term nurture sequence. And eventually, all the leads that you've closed into jobs and all the ones that you didn't close, we are going to go and maximize the return on your investment for those leads. And here's what happens after that. Every single client that you close will end up in what we call a past client long-term nurture sequence. Basically, automatically, the moment you click that job is completed and closed, they will be added in here, where a month will go by and the system will follow up with an email possibly even a text just to make sure everything's going well, they were happy with stuff, everything's good. Then every single month, it's going to follow up with an email just as a touch point reminders. We even plug in things like holiday reminders in here, things like Merry Christmas, Halloween specials, fall specials, winter specials, summer specials, all kinds of stuff in here that keeps you top of mind for your past clients. We throw in things like referral bonuses, referral emails, that kind of stuff, and date of service. So on the date of service, depending on the type of service that you provide, you can even add that in here so that you can start to bring it back into the sales process. A perfect example would be something like, let's say if you're a painter and you just did the exterior of somebody, of a house, you may want to wait a year or 6 months, and you may want to go back and say, hey, we did your exterior. If you're looking to upgrade anything on the interior, here's what we do. Or you may add an additional service. Now you're a painter that also does now kitchen remodels, for example. You might want to introduce that and say, hey, we did your exterior. I want to let you know that we are now doing kitchen remodels, and for our past customers, we're going to offer this deal. Okay, so all this happens automatically. Now, what about the people that did not buy from you? This is a sticky point because a lot of small business owners seem to think that if somebody doesn't buy from you right now, from click to sell, that they are a bad lead. And that's simply not the case. Sometimes it's just not the right time. Okay, people just don't, it's just not the right time for them. Sometimes people don't have the money right now, but they may have the money in the future, or they may need another project or something like that. You paid for those leads, and so we want to nurture those leads as well. So every time there's a client that we lose based on sales, where a salesperson says, oh, they're not qualified because they're either the price point wasn't right, or they're not ready, or they went with somebody else or something like that, or they didn't pick up, they didn't answer, they went cold on us. We want to put them in what we call a long-term nurture sequence for non-clients. It's very similar to the client nurture sequence, only we're not going to specify date of service. We're going to still create a nurturing email sequence. There's not going to really be any text, but there's going to be top of mind stuff. Maybe it's going to be ideas for a kitchen remodel, or idea for a painting project, or the holidays are coming and you need to get rid of all the junk that you have accumulated, and now we're a junk company and we're going to give you this deal, that kind of stuff. In addition to that, all these people can be then retargeted on Facebook, Instagram, Google, etc. So now you have lead flow that's coming into your high-level CRM, and it can come from Google, it can come from Facebook and Instagram, it can come from TikTok, it can come from a magazine ad, from organic, you name it. The system now is doing what it's supposed to be doing, which is automating all the heavy lifting. It's not going to be where you're having to spend all your day dragging and dropping cards and seeing who did what. And you can even go further. These are just the basic sort of groundwork that we do for home service companies. When we set up those bots in here, the bots actually have conversations. It connects to ChatGPT and has a lot of conversations with people to try to help them close more of those deals, so that your salesperson can breathe a little bit, they can be more efficient, and not have to just focus on 100 leads in one pipeline and not know what's what. Hopefully this video helped. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comment section, and like I said, there'll probably be resources along with a trial of Highlevel, if you haven't already gotten it, in the description of this video.